Into the next game, it is zRage taking on 4FC. Let's get ourselves a game of Dota. Hello and welcome to day number 22 of StarLadder Season 6. By the way, day number 22 of 27 days in total. So next Friday is the last day of StarLadder. So all these teams, they're working towards that final point. Can they still get themselves a spot in the top 4? Or will they not make it and will just be going on to the next StarLadder season? Of course, you also can have the unlucky, unfortunate event that you are going to get dropped down, but neither of these teams so far are looking to be in that position. 4FC taking on zRage. We are, of course, not alone. We are here for you, providing you coverage with 3 persons, and one of those is the one that you won't hear. It is the one that you will see, at least see what he does. It is K-poptosis, providing you with all the stats, and of course the one that you will hear, it is my co-caster, Vykromond. Welcome back.
It's good to be back, Sheever. Pretty exciting game that we just saw. It was fun to see the lineups that the teams brought, as well as the execution. 4FC just looking very, very sharp, at least so far today. We'll see how they do against zRage. zRage, of course, they haven't, as you mentioned the last game, they haven't played that many games so far this season, so they do have a shot at the playoffs. If I'm speaking honestly, I would say that it's a very, very outside shot. That said, I mean, that's not the only thing you play for in StarLadder. Of course, if you're able to make it from season to season, that's very, very good. And for that, you need to place, I think, 11th or better, because I believe 12th and 13th have to play against the people coming up out of the second division, and 15th and 16th, 13th, 14th, yeah, and 15th and 16th are just kicked out entirely. Now, this season, we know that one team won't be coming back, unfortunately, because QPAD, of course, but that still leaves 3 slots that I think all these teams sort of want to avoid, and as we reach the, what is it, day 21, day 22?
Yeah, this is day 22.
So teams are starting to think of how they want to be, how they want to remember this season. And both these teams have already had some games to be proud of, and I think if they end with, say, a winning record, that would be a huge deal.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, StarLadder is the continuous season, or continuous ladder that you can always have to prove yourself against the top teams, because everybody of the Western scene is here, apart from, of course, America, but this is like the European ladder, and you... Like, even as a team such as SheeverGaming, for example, they came from Pro Series, and they were able to see how they did up against, of course, the top teams in Europe. And, that chance, you don't get that every day. So I really like that in StarLadder, and of course, we'll see that in the next season once again. 4FC and zRage, in theory, 4FC still has a chance to go to Kiev, but the chance is not that big, because they need to have the other teams lose a bit, as well as them winning every single one of their games that they still have. zRage, they have only played 6 games, so it's very tough to say. In theory, they can still make it. They have only got 3 losses, so they can still reach the top.
Yep.
If they will, we'll see. It is a high school tilted. This draft is going pretty fast, by the way.
It is. The lineup's are actually extremely similar to the ones we had last game, except in this case, 4FC gets that Kunkka for Strangby that he really, really loves to play. Usually the Vanguard first Kunkka just for additional defensibility, and then going into the standard Shadow Blade crit approach. This time they get the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon pairs incredibly well with Kunkka. In fact, the Shadow Demon Kunkka Lina core just interfaces with each other very, very well. Matrum played a huge Lina game last game, actually. That in the critical Roshan fight that actually ensured that IC Cup wouldn't be able to make a comeback, he was basically the MVP there. zRage, meanwhile, they've picked 3 heroes that are all really good, but I don't really see the synergy between the 3 yet.
Now we have got the Lone Druid, very strong core Visage, very strong support, and Darkseer, very strong offlane. The last 2 heroes, they are the ones who have to provide the synergy. As well, it's kind of interesting to see both a Lone Druid and a Darkseer in the same team, as both, of course, are normally run on the offlane. But we might see the Darkseer going into the jungle, but right now I'm not too sure about that anymore, as they do pick up the secondary support. In terms of bans, there wasn't really any surprising bans. zRage going for that Gyrocopter and
10
Lifestealer. Weaver,
seconds
Nature's Prophet
remaining.
banned out there as well. As a Wisp and Batrider still very strong, banned out by 4FC. With the
5
Juggernaut
seconds remaining.
and the Chen banned out by zRage. It just prevents zRage from going for that high push potential that they did last game. With the Juggernaut Lone Druid, obviously. And the Chen would be a very good one with that as well. And the Anti-Mage now getting banned out. As zRage, they have got that Lone Druid, but they don't really have a strong farmer yet. And which hero, like, we see a carry being banned out by 4FC. Which hero are you expecting mid? Is Lion gonna be mid? Lion got buffed.
So it can be Lion mid. I think this anti-mage ban was kind of a waste because I think almost certainly you end up seeing Lone Druid as the sideline carry here. I guess they could put him mid and then put the Lion as a support. Lion solo mid is an interesting proposition. He has certain matchups that he's okay in and certain matchups that he's absolutely horrible in. The problem with Lion is that he's not, ooh, Razor, this is cool, especially, oh, I get the anti-mage ban. This Razor, they were planning to take this Razor 5th pick. Now zRage are extremely pressured to take a second core because Razor can completely shut down the Lone Druid in a 1v1 core situation. Oh man, so this really pressures them to put the Lone Druid in an awkward position such as mid, take a different carry. Oh, this is so tricksy from 4FC. This is a very nicely done draft.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and of course they ban out the Anti-Mage, also a carry that, if they would pick it up, would be one of those carries that would go for Manta Style regardless, because you don't want people to go for Manta Styles, or want to have carries that normally don't get them, force them to do something different that maybe works less effective.
He could just blink out of the static link instantaneously too. Yeah, this is, wow, it's such a smart. I was like, that ban is really weird, and it turned out to be, this is why they're the pros and I'm completely incompetent. That was really, really smart actually.
Well, interesting to see zRage also banning out the Queen of Pain, considering the Storm Spirit was already up on 4FC. But we're now going to see probably Storm Spirit mid, Razor solo offlane, and aggressive trial lane with the Kunkka, Shadow Demon, and Leon.
Yeah. Quap was a good ban simply because, yeah, it could be 1v1 store. It's Quap, Queen of Pain could be run 1v1 solo lane against, for instance, the Darkseer. Actually, if it's Darkseer, you can run Storm Spirit against him. If it's Lone Druid, you can run Queen of Pain. And then you run the Storm Spirit or the Queen of Pain in the other lane. I actually think that's pretty good because zRage knew that they'd be in a tough position mid. For instance, if they were planning to initially run the Lion mid, he would get completely destroyed by Queen of Pain mid. Whereas he would not have as much trouble with Storm Spirit due to the lower attack range, meaning that he could actually level mana drain early. Sorry, that was really complicated. But basically, like, the Queen of Pain was a smart ban because 4FC would have so much variability for the solo safe versus the mid that it would mean that zRage couldn't find favorable matchups.
Yeah, and they're like really debating this because
yeah, they
do you want to stick to your guns? They want to stick to your plan, thinking, you know what, we're confident enough that we can outplay them early and maybe shut that Razor down so he's not that big of an issue.
Yeah.
Or how do you react? Or do you indeed want to put something awkward and already know that your laning is going to be a lot weaker than 4FC ones?
Yeah, they almost can't win the lanes at this point. They take Windrunner, so this actually is a bit of a hedge. Because they still have the option of, okay, so it's Inquisitor on the Lone Druid. Side lane farming Lone Druid is what it looks like. And then Sharfit on the Darkseer.
Or Visage mid. Ah, no.
So you can run Windrunner solo, Darkseer mid, and then the tri-lane.
Yeah. That could work out. And Windrunner is also one of those heroes that can, if needed, transition into a bit of a semi-carry. Might not be as effective as others. I maybe would have liked to see one that might have been able to have that level 6 ultimate that would make a lot of difference on the map, but Windrunner is a pretty stable pick. Windrunner is basically never a bad pick, so that's I kind of like it. I think she'll probably be up against the Razor by herself. Remaining. Yes, and that should be a good matchup for Hakon to have. Remaining.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. It's tough to say how they're actually going to lane. I mean, the players that are on the heroes, so definitely make the suggestion that what you're saying is true. And yeah, that's what it looks like. So I guess I'll introduce zRage. We've got the Trillium will be composed of Medved on the Lion, Inquisitor on the Lone Druid, and who am I missing? The Android P on the Visage. Then the middle looks to be Sharfik on this Darkseer, and the offlane to be Hakon on the Windrunner.
Yeah, and of course 4FC once again. This time it's Boomski on the Shadow Demon again. We have got Strangby on his favorite carry. It is the Kunkka for him. And on the aggressive tri-lane with those two is Matrim once again on the Lina with the Fairy Soul Hair. In the mid lane it is Blumberg taking on the Storm Spirit. And on the top lane, last but not least, it is the solo off lane, normally, this time solo safe lane. It is Skrilly playing the Razor, and he'll be up against that Windrunner. Razor has only picked up 9 times over the last 2 months, and I like that you put a Lena picture with that.
I think you just misclicked, maybe. But, yeah, Razor, interesting hero, certainly. I actually think he's pretty strong secretly, especially after this. The buff has made Aghanims actually an extremely viable pickup for him. It actually gives 4FC comparable push to what zRage are bringing, because zRage's only pusher really is Lone Druid, and Razor is a very, very competent pusher once he picks up that Aghanim Scepter. So, it's an interesting pick. It's very... I actually think that the pickup of the Windrunner has not really resolved the Razor issue. In mid-game fights, the static link will just hit the bear immediately, and it'll be like Enfeeble, basically. It'll actually be worse than Enfeeble, because Enfeeble doesn't give Bane your damage. Static link does.
Yeah, maybe because of that static link, we might see this going a bit different than normal. This bear, that is, maybe going for a bit more utility build, a bit more aura build, and just to try to get as much entangles as you can, as we already have got the disruption going off here. It is Android that might be in a lot of trouble. Torrent hits as well as a light strike array. Burns away some trees, but Android, no hope for him. He goes down. Boomski with the first blood. And of course, after this first blood has happened, who do you think you will win? Or who do you think will win? 4FC or zRage? Exclamation mark, vote. And of course, case sensitive.
That's a bit stacked now that the first blood has happened.
Yeah, you might already have a favorite now.
Yeah. I mean, 4FC, honestly, I was extremely impressed with this draft. I think the lanes favor them. That said, zRage lots of potential. Of course, Lion is able to sleep. Oh,
Lion is dead. That's what Lion is.
He sure is. I mean, this is a very effective, aggressive try. We know that Shadow Demon Kunkka is a great combination, and then layering Matrum's Lina on that just makes it so completely deadly. If they can zone out Inquisitor even, which they haven't been able to do quite yet, I mean, even if these supports die, if the Lone Druid still last hits, it's not fatal. It's painful, but not fatal.
Yeah, it's very tough. They're like already, because of the draft, fighting from behind. And they just need to hope that they can get at least their early game to be not lost, because if they lose their early game, there will be a lot of trouble for them. In the meantime,
tough.
Yeah, lucky for them, Windrunner never really loses lanes unless she really dies, but I don't think that she'll die in this matchup. She can play even,
likely.
but yeah, dying is not really her thing. And
she's gonna probably get out last hit, but that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And in the meantime,
really
Sharfik, same story.
Sorry, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think Darkseer loses this lane. My only concern is, I would have loved for them to actually send the Darkseer to the try in this case, and maybe do the Lion mid. Once they know that the Storm Spirit is almost certainly the mid, I think Storm Spirit is one of the few matchups that he's actually okay in, simply because he can level Q and E rather than Q and W, and harass him.
Oh, Courier. Oh, no, he's fine.
So, Lion has bad base damage, but Storm Spirit's base damage is actually nothing to crow about either. So, the other thing is that Darkseer would actually be very useful in this tri-lane to put Ion Shell on the bear, and then put the bear in Kunkka's face. Because what are they going to do? Disrupt your bear? It's not terribly likely.
No, and even if they do, that's actually a disruption baited out. Making sure that there's no disruption anymore to set up for a Torrent or a Light Strike array.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the Darkseer tri-lane could have worked. I think they were still in Queen of Pain mode when they made this decision, or maybe Sharfik didn't feel like playing Lion, but I think it could have worked. I think this can work too. The main thing is going to be staunching the bleeding in this tri-lane, trying to make sure they don't die anymore.
Yeah, I see a lot of votes going on the way up for FC already. Well, we'll see what the results are in a moment. As yeah, zRage, they've been okay now for the last minute or so. And as you said, Inquisitor, he's still able to get some last hits. He's 10 for 3 right now, and Strangby 9 for 1. So he's actually getting ahead slightly, or at least playing even, which is really all you can ask for versus this lane.
It really is. Yeah, I think Inquisitor's doing okay. This is a pretty classic carry player. He plays quite safe, just tries to get those items and then really contribute a lot later. And I think this is okay. In this situation, they are definitely the team that wants to wait it out a bit. Especially with Razor getting constant levels on the top, the bear is going to have to basically work through Static Link. So that's going to take some farm.
Yeah, in the meantime, we have got Blomberg sitting on 21 to 6. with Sharvik on 23-1, so also this lane very even. And on the top lane, Hakon sitting on 11 for 2. Krilly on 18 for 5, slightly ahead, but not that big of a difference just yet. And Hakon, of course, getting those levels as well. We do have another go here on the bottom lane though, but this time the Torrent was not in place after that disruption, and Lone Druid gets himself away. So 4FC don't get another kill there added to the board.
Yeah. Middle lane, pretty much even. The Darkseer not expected to lose this lane against Snow Spirit, especially after, I mean, he's going pure sustain. Soul Ring and Bottle, so he actually won't need to crow it that much. So, then, which is good because, of course, they don't have the Flying Courier, but that gives them the opportunity to be just fine in this lane. Storm Spirit has more denies, but really, I would say it's fairly close. It's about as good as you can expect.
Oh, Lion, a lot of trouble. Soulcatcher was there, and that's a kill. Boomski gets it. Inquisitor looking to kill off Matron though, but the bear gets pulled back. They need to run. Android still has a pretty strong soul assumption, but he doesn't throw it out in time now. Those stacks will go away. And that will be another kill going the way of 4FC, 3-0.
Yeah. Bit of a lack of stick-to-itiveness, I feel. He could have gotten Matchroom and still gotten away. But again, I mean, that's Inquisitor. He's a pretty conservative carry player. He doesn't go for the throat like your hosts of the world. He likes to sort of sit back a little bit.
Yeah, he is able to still get some kills or last hits with this, because the lane did get pushed in because of that go. So that will help him out a bit. I have to, like you said it earlier already, like, real quick, but they still don't have a Flying Courier. And that is, of course, the result of this aggressive trial, and they can't get anything done. There's no creep stacking possible because it's constantly warded. And zRage, they're actually getting quite... Like, that's quite a big thing. The levels are level 2 and 3 on the supports here. We have got Boomski sitting almost at level 4, still at level 3 for now. And the same thing goes for Matrim, who went all the way back to base, almost level 4 for him as well. And that's a pretty big difference. And even though, like, the level 6 of Lion is a pretty big thing to have, actually. Level 6 of Android as well. And Tangle, a lot of damage there up on Strangbeat. The slow is there as well. It is zRage that wants to go for this, but they don't continue going up on Strangbeat, and they actually go for Boomski instead because of that disruption still around the corner.
Oh, scary. Kunkka. He will get out, actually. Nice little juking. Not juking, but finding the right time to come out of that little alleyway.
Yeah,
if he had a...
Disruption there, Torrent there. It's gonna hit as well. Nice stop for... Never mind, that's still gonna be a kill. But Matron goes down as well, though. And actually, Android now is there. He still goes. Strangbeat with the kill. Boomski might go down. Needs that level 1 entangle. Is he gonna get it? No! 21 HP and the right click. There we go. That's a kill going the way of Inquisitor. That's what they need. Torrent will miss up an Inquisitor, and they might be able to get something else if they get entangles. But they are not getting entangles, and that is actually pretty unfortunate. 83% going the way of 4FC. Wow.
Part of the situation is that the bear doesn't have boots yet, so if it had boots, it would have many more opportunities to actually hit those entangles. Sharvik rotating to top. They're trying to make something happen on Trillia, so he's got to be a little careful. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's gonna walk back. Yeah.
He actually popped his ultimate already.
Mm-hmm. He wanted to actually... He might have been able to get a kill on Windrunner, but now he realizes that Sharvik's rotating over. You see him just completely retreating.
And Ives actually hits up on the bear, and Tangle Boomski might be in some trouble instead of Inquisitor being in trouble, but that's a go. That didn't work out. Hey, Lena doesn't have her hair anymore.
Huh.
Well, she still has the glowy hands.
Yeah. Strange.
Yes. Sad.
That is sad. He lost the ability icon as well in Dragon Slave. That's a weird little bug.
Yes. Still has the face on the top side.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But oh
well. I mean, Blomberg doing well in the middle. He's got 47 last hits. This is perfectly reasonable for this point in time. He has 1,000 gold. We'll see if he makes that Arcane Boots very quickly or if he actually goes for something else. But keep in mind, this is a Storm Spirit with Ball Lightning and maxed Disable. So that's very ganking focused.
He purchased Treads.
Okay. So yeah, a little bit more of a carry approach. Adding a little bit of damage to their team as well as survivability. So I can't really argue with this choice. It means he's a little less ganking capable, but he does have a regen rune up, and that's the ultimate Storm Spirit rune.
Yeah, and maybe with that he tried to rotate and he'll go try to make a difference on the top lane. We still have Razor sitting there, happily farming as well. He's not doing as well as Blomberg is actually. He is only 4 last hits ahead of the Windrunner right now, and that's of course also because of that Darkseer Sharvik going top at some point. They didn't get anything done, but they did chase him away, and that was actually quite a big thing to do. It made Windrunner just even on the lane again, even though she didn't win it. Oh, actually Windrunner. Oh, there's now an icon. Like she has all dark hands with having all this like link damage burned away.
That seems new.
Yep.
It's interesting.
With a smoke up, by the way. Boomski and Matron on the hunt.
I think I don't really know what they're expecting to get here. Their best bet is Sharfik, but it actually will be very, very difficult. Maybe if they chain together, what's his life like right now? 891? Yeah, they might be able to do it, but he does have 10 charges on stick.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. zRage is already there, and that's a gank failed.
Questionable. Yeah, it was a really questionable gank. It's tough to gank either Windrunner or Darkseer here. That's the plus side of zRage. They do have this ability to turtle up and not actually get killed. And now that their levels are even in the tri-lane, you just saw how much more difficult it is to actually get kills in that tri-lane too. Inquisitor has a ton of HP, and Visage can just respond with Soul Assumption spam.
And you can never count out the entangle of the bear, and that's also one of those big factors that could cost 4FC a support's life, because they're level 4. They won't be staying alive against that all that long. They do rotate back though. Boomski is already sitting there. There's no vision up on zRage on this side of the map. They have 2 wards mid though. They actually overlap each other a bit, which is quite interesting to see. Maybe a bit miscommunication there, or is it the same person? Yeah, it's both neutral wards.
It's interesting. Both teams keep attempting ganks that don't really work out. Sharfik rotated once again. Now he's going to try to make hay of it just by doing some push. But he definitely thought that he could catch Krilly out, and Krilly once again just peeling just far enough back that he's safe. Blomberg with the haste rune though is coming in. This could be trouble actually. I think Sharfik dies here if he overextends.
Yeah, there's the lightning in. Sharfik with the vortex, taking a lot of damage, already getting burned away, a lot of attack damage as well, and he goes down. Hakon will be able to run himself away, but Blomberg has got a couple of bottle charges and that haste rune. Needs a vortex, but can't get it done, just trying to slow down Hakon for a while. Nice shackle!
Wow.
Krilly and Blomberg shackled together. Well, that's gonna put an end to that one.
Fantastic shackle. Really, really good.
Lightning Bros, assemble!
That's true. These are both lightning-themed heroes, and this is the first time in a competitive game we see that. And again, that's the uniqueness of this draft. That people were laughing at me on Twitch because of how impressed I was with this, but it really is it's an extremely unique draft, well adapted to the team that they're fighting.
They get shackled together. So
yeah, they did get shackled together. That's true. So shortly after assembling, the Lightning Bros were assembled together by Windrunner. But still, I mean, they got a kill there. And that was a gank attempt by Sharfik that really failed.
Yeah, again, and this time it didn't just fail as the last time. He actually lost his life for it, so that's the biggest fail that you can have. Well, I guess the biggest fail would also be if Windrunner ended up going down with him, but that wasn't the case. That was the first excursion that Blomberg made, I think. And he does it, and it's instantly successful. Sharfik has already done it twice, not that successful, obviously. He's now going to try to contest for the rune. They'll both miss it, though, because his bottom, but Blomberg might be able to catch out Sharfik here. He knows that the surge is on cooldown, but that Ice Shell really burning him quite a lot. Is he going to come back into that? No, he's not. The Darkseer wall scaring him a little bit. I'm going to follow this one. Well, there's also a fight going on bottom, though. And that is Blomberg going down in the end. In the bottom lane, in the meantime, we also have kills on the board. It is Inquisitor that still ended up dropping on his lone druid. We have got Medved running for his life, will go down as well. The entire tri-lane got wiped for just the cost of 1 Shadow Demon, and now Hakon comes in, but he is forced back again. In the end though, I mean, okay, they got wiped out in the bottom lane, but that kill that Sharfik did on Blomberg was very, very important kill.
Yeah, I mean, the boat was... getting Blomberg is important, but that boat just completely took them apart in the bottom lane. A very, very effective placement. Finally killing Inquisitor. I mentioned, as long as they have Inquisitor farming, it's okay, but that was a big kill. He actually doesn't even have the resummon for another 40 seconds, so you can see he doesn't feel comfortable coming back to the bottom lane.
Yeah, we've got 5 people on the bottom lane for FC.
Yeah,
they go for Sharfik.
They get the tower easily here. There's no way they can defend it.
Well, maybe they can get some more disruption. Soulcatcher up on Android. Nice. Earth Spike, that's a boat, but it's only the buff for 4FC. Not really any debuffs for Hakon, for zRage. No damage, but well, that Laguna Blade was still on place, and yeah, it will give them a tower. We'll see that the Kunkka already goes back top because he wants to farm rather than just take a tower, and this is Krilly saying, okay, I got drums, I got Aquila, I want to be involved. Give me some fights, and they get a fight, and they get the fight also in favor of them. And
they get a big fight.
They get 2 kills off the back of it, yeah, and a tower, of course.
And, I mean, look at how much map control they earned from that. The 3 wards up, they have so much coverage. They can see everything that goes on in the jungle. This Lone Druid is going, it looks like he's actually going Radiance first, too. Skipping even boots on the bear to do it. So that's going to be less area that he can effectively cover with that Radiance without either him or the bear getting caught out.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we have got the Shadow Blade up on Kunkka, so the core items for 4FC getting done, as the Shackle misses here by Hakon, but that will not be that big of a deal. But yeah, core items are done. I mean, the drums and the Aquila up on Krilli is already saying, like, early game aggression. He doesn't really need that much to actually be involved in fights right now, so he is already looking pretty happy. And then we have the Storm Spirit, who is building towards an Orchid. He's pretty close to that as well. He's got his first Oblivion Staff already ready, and already has got 700 to build his next one, so... Yeah, 4FC, they're looking pretty confident. They are ahead by about 6k, 6.5k gold. Experience graph going the way of them by 5k. There is a ward of the high ground in the mid, so Blomberg did get scouted out here, so we see everybody of zRage being extra careful, but that is also not too bad, because as you said, I mean, they don't have any places to farm right now. There is 2 people farming, Inquisitor is farming bottom, and even though if he gets farmed, that will be attack power that gets drained by Krilli, and in the top lane, Hakon was still getting some, but again, he doesn't really have that much impact yet, apart from if he gets
the stuns.
Yeah, apart from the shackles.
So he's getting 4-staff phase, so this does give him the opportunity to land good shackles all the time. The faster you go and the more you're able to reposition with 4-staff, the better your shackles will be on average. So that'll definitely be good to have that almost 4-second stun. And the more I think about this Radiance for Lone Druid, the more I like it, because Radiance doesn't care whether you're static linked or not. It'll still deal its damage, so... I do like that, just he will be able to sort of burn through 4FC. That switches the argument from we can outdamage them to we can outlast them. And in that case, I think they want like a quick mechanism for somebody, probably Darkseer. Yeah, he's almost done with it already. So quick mechanism, maybe even pipe. They just need a lot of survivability and lockdown. And then maybe they can outlast with Radiance in a longer engagement.
Yeah, and that start that we just saw put up, Strangby. Getting a Shadow Blade faster, 4.5 minutes than average.
Yeah.
Result of a very successful aggressive trial lane.
Exactly, because his farm isn't even that amazing. It's good, but not great. But just the ability to get constant kills and the tower was really what made the difference.
He's been in 9 out of the 10 kills for his team.
Wow.
That's, I mean, that's impressive for sure.
Yeah.
And he is the one that hasn't died yet. I mean, okay, 4FC lost some heroes on the bottom lane as well, but it was never the Kunkka. Oh, disruption there, Sharvik actually looking to chase, gets a vacuum going. Ball lightning in though, Blomberg with the Vortex up on Medved. That's already one down. Soul Assumption will still hit on Blomberg, but he's able to ball lightning himself away. Nice shackle up on Krilli though. He came in and he'll pay for that one. Visage with the kill. That's a nice counter pickup for zRage. Very much worth it.
Kill on a level 11, we'll take it. That was unnecessary for Krilli to come in there, but still, they do find one support kill. I agree that was a little bit of a miscommunication, but they still get a tower out of it. The levels are a problem right now, so it's very good that they managed to get a kill on a level 11, because this Lion doesn't have his Finger of Death. They're actually... No, that was a pointless disruption on the bear, but the Lion doesn't have Finger of Death. The Visage doesn't have maxed Soul Assumption. It's problematic when you're facing a team that has it supports 7-8 and then 3 heroes up at the level 11 range.
Oh, Kunkka is in a bit of trouble. Sentry ward already be placed down. The shackle doesn't ledge though because the power shot was first, but the birds come in. An android from afar gets a kill. Dominating streak ended. That's a lot of gold for a support Visage.
That's great pick up there, honestly. That was very nice.
And they get these pickups. They can continue doing this. I mean, it's all core heroes that are falling on the side of 4FC. So that's pretty...
Yeah, it's true. Krilli, Strangby.
Yeah, that was the first time that he died. First time that they both died. So pretty good. And as you said, I mean, those level 11s going down, that's a lot of experience. Even though Kunkka was still level 10. But they delay his level 11 by that one. And of course, that level 2 boat, it's no joke.
Absolutely. Level 2 boat, I mean, especially post-patch, now that it does 450 damage, for when you get it, that's a tremendous amount of damage on an AoE ability. Boat is honestly pretty overpowered, but it's so fun to watch that I don't mind. I don't mind an ability being OP if it's cool, if it like looks cool and it makes a cool sound and it does cool things. Whereas like with Reverse Polarity, when it was still did that like large amount of damage, it's like, okay, he presses a button and then somebody's dead. Whereas boat, it's like, it's a giant boat. How can you not be happy about a giant boat?
Same thing goes for Black Hole.
Same thing goes for Black Hole, 100%. And that's why I'm happy that Enigma, I think, is going to be more of a player now that Magnus is less of a player.
We saw him yesterday.
Yep.
Had 4-man black holes.
It's so hype. It's just
It's so hype.
Super hype ability, yeah.
The boat is not that much hype though.
I think the boat's pretty hype. Because it like whistles in from like a long distance. It's not as hype as
Yeah, but
Black
it's
Hole.
not like, oh my god, it's a boat and it's gonna hit on everybody. But it does hit on everybody. It's just...
I don't know. Have you seen that Russian macro that people post in Twitch chat about the boat? About Vlad freaking out about a giant Kunka boat?
No, I don't think so.
You've probably seen it, you probably just don't recognize it because it's a bunch of Russian gibberish. But I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
Somebody might paste it in chat, too.
Radiant's bottom tower
I hope
is
so.
under attack.
We do have more items up on 4FC once again. We have the Yasha up on Krillin now. We have got the Orchid up on the Storm Spirit. So Blomberg also able to just go on his own, go on the hunt. As Krillin is following the most standard build on Razor. Well, that's a bit boring, Krillin, don't you think? Yasha after drums and face.
I have faith. You need speed, so Razor has to be faster than the people he's chasing, otherwise Static Link is useless. So that's why you see this high movement speed build, Racecar Razor. But I have faith. If he goes Aghanims after, well, I think we can be happy.
Is under attack.
He didn't get buffed by Aghanims.
Yes, he did.
He did?
Yes.
Is there...
The strike interval, I believe, got.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
tell you exactly what it was, but it was actually a fairly substantial buff. And Aghanims for Razor wasn't that bad before. It was underrated before, and now it's really good. It has max duration at every level instead of just at level 3. Its strike interval, so how fast it deals damage, got improved. So it's DPS. So both DPS and duration getting improved is a big deal.
Oh, and he's going to try to chase Sharfik, but that's something that counters him pretty hard. Like 2 things: you can make Sharfik faster, and the Grave Chill was still there to make Razor slower. So that was pretty solid play from zRage. They still lose their tier 1 tower though, and Krillin is still on the hunt. But he doesn't have his Static Link. Boat comes in, hits upon 2. See, hype. Soul Assumption, Boomski takes a lot of damage from that. The rear Shackle from Hakon hits a crit.
Yeah, it's tough to aim sometimes. I mean, Shackle's such a wonky ability that you usually, if you're not in range of any heroes, it's usually smarter to try to Shackle to hero rather than hero to hero, but in that case it didn't pay off.
Yeah, Blumberg still was able to pick up the Vision at the end, but he'll still have his birds. We already saw those having a big impact earlier on with killing off the Kunkka. Maybe they can help out again. But 4FC, they actually stopped going in and continue farming. They are now doing the choke strat. Because they're farming everywhere.
Exactly, it's working so well. You could just see zRage's heroes just struggling so much. The Lion's still level 6, level 7 Visage. No medallion up on Visage, just the chainmail, and Urn of Shadows with no charges on Lion because they can't find kills. These are just such incredibly starved supports, and it's really going to be difficult to keep them alive in these engagements. Like, you already saw Visage just drop like a rock when Blomberg looked at him funny. The Orchid Malevolence, I mean, it just ramps that up.
I'm sorry, Storm Spirit looks at everybody funny.
That's true.
I couldn't help but let that pass. I couldn't let it pass. Sorry.
That's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, Sharfik is actually having a mechanism, so that might help his team because, as you said, they need to endure these team fights for that Radiance to have its full effect, and the mechanism will allow them to do that. And if they can pick up Razor fairly early on of the fight, if they can shackle him and get the bear away from him, of course with the Surge helping out, that would actually be a pretty good deal for zRage. They have got the Radiance ready though, at least the money is there for the recipe to also be bought, and the Spirit Bear getting his relic upgraded to a Radiance. And that will be having a pretty big impact. 4FC, they're still starving zRage quite decently though. They have wards in the mid lane. They are very far up onto the tier 2 towers on both top and bottom lane. And they kind of leave one spot left for zRage to farm, like one neutral camp and 3 lanes. But
the
yeah.
nice thing with the Bear Radiance is that, of course, you can send the Bear out as just alone, and it will still farm with the Radiance, and that way you can keep the hero completely safe. It will be 300 gold if they find it out and kill it, though. But
yeah, and not just that. Without the Bear, zRage can't really fight that.
Yeah, without the Bear, they have nothing. Absolutely, I agree with you.
If you kill it off once, you know that it's only gonna take you one more time to make sure that there's no Bear in general, and you can just go in, focus on the Bear, and then take a fight.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Exactly. I mean, they do have to resummon right now, so they can afford to gambit one Bear while they still have outer towers. After that, I agree, it's going to be difficult to justify even.
Yeah, as we have Kunkka building towards that Chrysalis, then we know that they love the crit. It's always something great. And I kind of think, like zRage, maybe they should try to look for a fight. Maybe they should try to like now that they have the Radiance, that is, to try to smoke up and find a fight that is not going to be involving that Razor, and of course, well, which is going to be very tough, but not close to any tier 1 towers of 4FC that are, by the way, all still standing.
That's the thing. 4FC have had, again with the Tri-Core, they're almost Fnatic-ish with this approach now. Like, getting the 3 core farmers and trying to win all the lanes at the same time. It's very greedy, but if you think that the other team can't punish you effectively, it's tremendously effective. And so far for them, both games today, it's... zRage aren't out of this, definitely, but 4FC, I almost called them Fnatic, 4FC looking really, really good.
Yeah, it's super effective. But they do, they try to exchange the tower, as we saw. There was a bit of a push on for zRage on the tier 1 tower mid, where there was a static link and the bear got chased off again. But they went for an exchange. They thought, we can take the tier 1 mid and get some more map control maybe back while losing the tier 2 bottom. And they still lost the tier 2 bottom but didn't get a tier 1 mid. And that's actually a pretty big loss. As we just saw the stat being put up that this Radiance that the bear has been built, it's one of the most popular build that the Spirit Bear wants. With that Radiance, 40% of the games, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. 40% of the games that have been played with a Spirit Bear since then have been with that Radiance.
Yeah, it's expensive, but it actually got buffed, so it does 50 burn damage. It's very, very strong DPS from that Radiance. It speeds up the farm, it makes your team fight better. It's an expensive item, but if you're playing the Lone Druid in a #1 role, as he is in this case, it's a pretty smart pickup. So I like it. Again, it also gives you static link insurance. Even if the bear is static linked, you're still doing something at least. My concern is just that 4FC are just developing out all of these heroes, and zRage are really only getting farm on the Lone Druid, and it's just a Radiance at this point at that. They have to slow this game down so much to actually have anything formidable to show, and they somehow need to win teamfights in the interim and not give up Roshan. It's a tall order.
Yeah, I like this, like, they just want to check, like, is there something at Roshan? Let's place a ward, you know, be safe. Nobody is at Roshan, but before they actually got there, they walked past 2 wards of 4FC. One actually just disappearing, but they, yeah. That ward coverage from 4FC pretty strong, and now zRage trying to take another tower. This time it's the bottom. There's only 3 people here from 4FC to try and defend it, but it is 2 of the 3 cores. They're gonna get a torrent. He can already be getting forced back. Setting the link. See what's on the bear. Gets someone back though. Really nicely done. Breaking that link, knowing that it's on cooldown. They are totally outnumber the opponent, and they're still so careful because they know what that Razor can do.
Check out Strangby's build here. He wants Daedalus, but he's building all the damage items first because he knows that the HP of the supports is so low that it's actually more important for him to get pure damage than the Chrysalis.
Oh, Akon, you guys found out. Torrent will miss, but Laguna Blade will still be there. Both flies in, gets a buff on everybody. Sharfik getting stunned up, will get killed off as well. We see Android fighting for his life as Curly is actually very low, but he is so fast. They can't fight him. The Soul Assumption will in the end take him down. And Blomberg looking for Ink Visitor. Gem on the floor will get picked up by one of 4FC. That's a team wipe. zRage was all there, and in the end, there or 5 there for 4FC as well. They only lose their Razor, but they lose someone, which is quite impressive to begin with, I guess. They don't get a tier 1 tower though, and that was of course the reason why all the people were there so fast.
Yeah, 4FC still with 6 towers up, and they only lose Razor, almost losing Boomski on Shadow Demon as well, but he lives, even using his medallion for a little extra damage thrown out, and you could just see in that fight just how much 4FC can throw out, especially with the BKB up on Storm Spirit, which he used for the first time in that fight. That made all of zRage's damage basically not matter against the Storm Spirit. Like, that BKB shut them down completely. In fact, it looks like Razor is going to build BKB as well, and once they have BKB on 2 heroes and a Kunkka that can Daedalus them to death, I won't say zRage are checkmated, but it's damn close to it.
Yeah, they're with the backs up on the wall for sure. It's so tough right now.
Wall? Their backs to the Darkseer wall, is that what you're saying?
But they can, no, the Darkseer is on their side.
Yeah, but their backs are to his wall, I think.
You can go through the wall though.
They can go through it. That's true. Your back is to the wall, but you can walk through it.
Yeah.
Easy rush kill here, though. Even with the medallion from the Shadow Demon, it drops incredibly quickly. And I mean, just the damage.
Yeah, zRage in no shape or form to try and contest this. I mean, It is like the previous game that we saw. 4FC was fighting up against one of the teams that had the combo wombo combination. You know, that was awesome. zRage doesn't have that.
They don't. Their lineup is all good heroes that have nothing to do with each other. Like their combos extend to, if we vacuum, we're more likely to shackle somebody together, or like vacuum into familiar stun. It's really nothing tremendously impressive. And like Finger of Death Soul Assumption may kill Shadow Demon, I think. That's about it.
It should be. It's still level 1 though, and that's pretty painful. We have got like it's such a long cooldown as well. You need to like it's almost 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's a super long cooldown at level 1. Lion, that's the thing, he's quite level dependent. He wants both of his disables maxed because Hex scales extremely well with time. Like it's only a 1.75 second disable at level 1, but at level 4 it's 4 seconds. 4-second disable. And of course that Finger drops to 40 seconds cooldown at level 3. That's why when we see Lion recently, he's been in sort of weird roles. Like we saw him as the tri-lane farmer rushing Midas in one game, which was, I'm not saying that's going to happen usually, but it's better than you'd think because he is very level dependent.
Yeah, and that's, you know, a result of that aggressive tri-lane working for 4FC. The levels, level 7 and 8 on the support of zRage, level 11 and 10 on the supports of 4FC. That's just a very big difference. Experience graph, I mean, there's no surprise that it's going the way of 4FC, but it's going the way of 4FC with almost 20k experience. And it's gold, same thing, same story. It is, they're just being starved so hard. And 4FC now with an Aegis, the question is, when are they gonna be trying to deliver that finishing blow? Because I think they already can. They're just being very careful about it. Maybe they want to wait until the BKB and Krilly is up, which is up again in 300 gold, or up as in bought.
And Krilly now almost done. He's 200 away from his BKB. I think that gives them the opportunity to go high ground, frankly. Maybe even before, because he has Aegis, so even if he dies, at least they can get the tier 2. There's almost no way that zRage can contest this tier 2. Maybe high ground.
Oh,
nice shackle.
Yeah, but he is already in the Shadow Blade. Ball lightning in. Akon looks like he'll pay for that. 4-staff forward might help him out a bit. He has his own 4-staff as well. Gets back into the base. In the meantime, Sharpik, he is the one that ends up dropping. Both flies in. That's a buff for everybody on 4FC, but no stun on zRage.
Good enough. The thing about the boat is it's so low cooldown that you can just use it and not really worry about it.
Yep. And they end up waiting for the creep wave. We'll be trying to take down the tier 2. Without the Darkseer, they don't really have to worry about the Darkseer wall, which is hurting them right now. Because then they would be their own worst enemy. They are pretty farmed. They would be fighting up against pretty farmed illusions as well. And that's not something that you really want to be having. So, yeah, but they do take a lot of damage. Krilly actually very low after that boat buff wore off.
Yep.
So he's going to go back to base. He does have his BKB indeed ready now.
They can't high ground with that, but again, that was a pretty easy tier 2. They lost nothing for it. They didn't use a BKB, or they did use a BKB charge for Storm Spirit, but that's not that much for a Darkseer kill, considering he's one of the core heroes for zRage. At this point, zRage almost want that Aghanims for Darkseer, frankly, but he just has Mechanism and 4-staff.
Yeah, he's not getting the farm, and even if he wanted the farm, he can't take it. Inquisitor needs it.
That's true.
And
Exactly. They need to somehow like generate a second lane of farm. Here's a huge problem too about Lone Druid Radiance, as good as it is. When you're using your bear to farm, you get no XP for any of this. You just get gold. So check out the level of Lone Druid compared to the level of the 3 cores at 4FC.
Level 12 up against level 17, 16, 16.
Bear's dead too. So that's 300 extra gold. They have to resummon the bear, and it's an under-level Lone Druid. Like, these are big problems.
Yeah, and they dust to see if they can find the Kunkka, but Strangby already out of there. Resummon for the bear, and that means 115 seconds without a fight for zRage, kinda. Because you can't lose the bear. That's all the gold that they have. Like, okay, net worth, it shows very much in favor of 4FC. You see those 3 cores, all fairly even, around 12, 13k. Lone Druid, 9.5. But most of that is in the bear, if not all. So if you lose the bear, that'll be your highest net worth hero down the drain. You can't do anything anymore then.
Yeah, I mean, 4FC just taking basically a gambit overall with the taking 3 core heroes and daring the other team to beat them early game. Of course, in this game, I feel like they just had the stronger draft, so zRage had a very tough time ahead of them to actually win that early game, make sure that 4FC didn't farm up all their cores. But once they do, it looks like Fnatic when Fnatic were just kicking everybody's ass, because they pick a bunch of farmers, and if you don't manage to beat all of them, suddenly they way out farm you. And if you just look at the net worth, that's exactly what's happening. For the second game in a row, all 3 of 4FC's primary heroes are very close on net worth, and all way higher than the other team.
Yep, and they're already knocking on the tier 3 door here in the mid lane because, I mean, why wait? Their ages might disappear soon. That's not something that you want. Whoa, Krilly going for Hakon, but Windrun is there to stop that setup link from going through, and he only got 28 stacks from that, and didn't hit it on the bear as well, so has to be careful with that, and they might actually wait until that's up again. That was a bit of a futile action. The Aegis is gonna disappear in 30 seconds.
If that, I think it's more like 15 seconds. So I guess they decided not to go in too hard, because they could have gone in and hoped that the Aegis would just get used, but I guess they decided to just peel off. That means that we might see 4FC being fairly patient and waiting even more. They could wait for the next Roshan. zRage isn't going to have much of a better chance at the next Rosh either, so... Darkseer Wall can turn a fight, but so can Boat, so can like a long duration Eye of the Storm.
Yeah, their team fight potential is pretty strong. I'm kind of like, we said they would wait for the BKB from Razor, fine. Then they would wait for the Aegis, fine. But why is 4FC not going high ground already?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think they just feel like they can afford to wait. The Lone Druid isn't likely to get any higher level anytime soon, so they can just completely choke them out and just take high ground whenever they want. At the very least, yeah, they do want this tower. And again, zRage has no way of defending these towers. They can try, but it'll just go poorly. I don't think that fortification was really like they're not going to fight, so that actually means 4FC can high ground because there's no fortification to worry about.
Yeah, we do have TP towards the bottom lane where Stramby was maybe trying to stop the bear from taking down a tier 1. I mean, that's something that he's been able to do. There is a tier 1 tower down on the top. Now tier 1 tower down on the bottom also, but getting denied. So
now they're building BKB on Kunkka, so BKB is for everybody. I think this is the right call. It just becomes a matter of time before they decide that, okay, we farmed enough, we can just go win now.
Yeah, the most exciting way of playing Dota, right?
It's definitely the way. Definitely the way to do it. I mean, they can though. They can completely afford to.
I totally agree. I mean, why would they rush, right? I mean, the longer this game goes on, the better shape they'll be, because they got 3 cores and zRage only got 1, and who's getting minimal amounts of farm with indeed not getting the experience of the farm that he actually gets.
Yeah. He's gonna get a Cuirass next, but you actually see Krilly going for Cuirass as well, so it'll completely cancel out the armor effects.
Yep. In the meantime, 4FC just doing what they're doing, and actually going for some crits here. Nope, not getting it, unfortunately. Not enough damage. And no supports around as well. In the meantime, Lion is also not getting any levels. I mean, you can't go out, so he's not getting any stronger either. He's not gonna get the level 2 Finger of Death.
Yeah. It's not going to happen. I doubt that in this game he will have the level 2 Finger of Death. It would require a complete turnaround and like a lot of time. And so he's basically pretty much stuck with this level 2 Finger. He at least got tier 2 boots, the power treads for a little tank ability, for whatever that's worth, which is a little bit. It's not the worst thing.
Nope. Oh, they're gonna do the same thing again that they did in the previous game.
Split push.
Split push. Maybe
they don't have. Their split push lineup isn't as good this time. Not nearly as good.
That's true, but they still have, I mean, the way that they are ahead, they still have the potential, I guess.
I agree. All they have to do is push the 3 lanes to the high ground spot and then take a free Roshan, because there's no way that zRage push out and then lose like a tier 3.
True. Well, Roshan is up again in 1 minute, so that will be probably, hopefully, the cue for 4FC to actually start making something more happen, as the BKB is now also up on Kunkka, so probably will be Roshan and then high ground for them.
I would be shocked if after Roshan they didn't high ground. There's greed, and then there's we just want to keep this game going so we can get 6 slotted. Like,
yeah, because it's fun. We're finally getting some farm on our support.
Nobody is going to Dota top 10 plays you wiping a team with 20 items. Like.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, it's so tough. In the meantime, the lanes are continuously pushed out. really making sure of that as well. He actually indeed picked up that Hyperstone, so looking pretty solid. And well, he's almost there actually if he's got that Assault Cross in mind. He should be having enough already actually. Did he? Not?
Who, Krilly?
Yeah.
No. He needs. He doesn't have the recipe.
Yeah, obviously.
So he's about 800 off. Meanwhile, I think Inquisitor should have his by now, or she should be pretty close. Where the heck is that bear? Where's that bear? There it is. He is about 200, 300 off. So he's close. The Lodred will get it before the Razor, but I'm not sure it'll be long enough before the Razor for it to matter at all. And I doubt that they can contest this Roche. They know it's happening, and that's the worst feeling. When you know something is happening, and you're powerless to do anything about it.
It's basically a ticking time bomb without really, without really having an anti-mage or Phantom Lancer that is that factor. It's just knowing, like, okay, they'll take Roshan, and we know that with that Roshan, with that Aegis, they'll try to fight us, and we just need to get as much as we can out of the time before Roshan goes down. And they can't even get that much.
God, no.
Scythe of Vice up on Storm now as well, as he gets the Aegis, so Blomberg,
Amazing.
2 lives.
Absolutely the right choice. Storm Spirit is such an incredibly good Aegis carrier. Because again, he can use Aegis is usually what? It's 1 more health.
Oh,
but
bear.
for Storm Spirit, ouch, poor bear.
He still takes some hits, but he gets hexed. Soul
Urge.
Caught. He is so dead. That's I mean that's 300 gold to support, brilliant, but that's a bear down again.
Yep, he needs to resummon it right now. Okay, he does. He has Cuirass, so that's something. I don't think Krilly has it yet. He has it.
Of course he has. Oh, he's also maybe in some trouble. Photon is BKB looking for Sharfik. He is actually, by just him, he is forcing 4 heroes to go back into their base. With the rest just being on the bottom lane, and the rest knew that the rest was actually on the bottom lane.
That's really funny. He doesn't have BKB for a minute because of that, but yeah, that's how scary it is to face up against any one of these 3 cores. Because what can they do against this BKB? What do any of these heroes do against a BKB, other than Lone Druid? Like, Windrunner isn't bringing the auto attack damage. She doesn't even have, like, she's not even that close to Scythe of Ice yet. She's 3.5k away. Sorry, no, 2.7k away, but still.
Yeah, they can't do anything. It's just a matter of trying to force them back. Darkseer Wall would be there. That would be the most important thing.
Yeah,
Getting a
the
copy of 4 of these heroes, and they know exactly what they should fear, and they're gonna put it out of his misery first. Android will drop second. The bear getting a static link stacks with, whoa, a lot of stacks there, 168, so that's a lot of attack damage going to very clearly, but he doesn't even care about killing off heroes with that. He just wants buildings, he just wants towers and Araxes, as they will be seeing their tier 3 dying. Darkseer is back though, and he gets initiated on again. Light Strike Array isn't there, or is there. The Laguna Blade wasn't there, but it doesn't matter. Nice Shackle's still there. Of course, Blomberg still has an Aegis, actually jumps himself into the fountain, gets a Finger of Death for his troubles. Inquisitor trying to run away from Blomberg, who will come in. Nice! That might actually help kill him up again. Nice Shackle, and that is overextension from 4FC, but the buybacks are there. The supports and strength be running themselves out of the base again after taking out his rags, and that was just very, very greedy. Very greedy.
Yes.
Did I say greedy? Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily say it was an overextend. It was pure troll. Pure troll, in my opinion. Krilly, he was at low HP, so he had no reason to go to the fountain. So my theory is that I'm pretty sure he stood there so he could shackle. I'm like pretty sure that's what happened there.
Well, we also saw that the Storm Spirit actually bought back and then wasted all his mana to get fast to the top lane to take the farm away from Strangler.
Exactly.
Just TP there.
Yeah, I think they're trolling at this point. They're trolling each other. They're trolling zRage. They're just trolling everybody out here.
Yeah. Well, they are also buying some extra time, extra maybe hope for zRage. Is that zRage? I mean, you have to have hope at this point. You have to think like, okay, if they're trollish, that might be their own doing, you know?
That's true. That was, I mean, it was a completely unnecessary feat of 2 heroes and an Aegis, but even so, they still got Raxes from that.
Well, that's the most important thing. They didn't get more than just 1 Rax though, and that's also something that you have to take into account. Because it could have been more, I think, if they played it serious.
Yes. If they were taking the game seriously, they would have gotten more. But, you know, you gotta have fun in Dota. That's the good thing about 4 friends and Trilly, right? Like, they always have fun.
Yeah, that's why they stick together. 4 friends. 5 friends, actually.
Well, maybe 4 friends now. After that
And that was really costing him the death, so yeah.
Yeah, right. That's why it's 4 friends plus Australia, not 5 friends.
Yep. Well, they go again though. They are all 5 back in mid. Tao already getting indeed that aura buff, with the aura buff countering it as well from the assault cuirasses on both sides. Nice. Doesn't get an entangle up on Curly though. Takes a lot of damage. Torrents going off.
If they wait for another rush, I will lose my mind.
Dire's top tower.
But yeah, Necronomicon gives them even more pushing muscle. He will have level 2 Necro in a bit. I actually like the level 2 much more than level 1, so... The odds of zRage stopping this just drop with every passing moment. The bear is still pretty substantive, but they have very little else, and they couldn't even get a wall in that last fight.
And I mean, they know that that wall would be the one thing that would be there on doing. They've been focusing Sharfik as first one. Blubber has been jumping in and just going in on just Sharfik every single time. No wall.
And that's the right choice. Yeah.
Oh, Stringy, careful there. They did take the tier 3. We're waiting for Blumberg to jump in, I think.
Yeah, they're being pretty careful this time, which is smart, because Curly can do this. He can jump up to do a few hits and then come back down. And he has BKB in case they try to catch him somehow.
Yeah, bear will get surged, but get jumped back as well. They don't want to be losing that bear. Need to fight with 2 bears. Meantime, Rex will slowly but steadily go down.
Yep. Matron building, looks like Ags. He's pretty close.
Oh, that'll be nice. More Laguna Blades.
Yep. Well, not more, but bigger.
Yeah, well, yeah. Better Laguna Blades.
It's not Lion Ags, so Lion Ags now decreases his cooldown to 20 seconds.
And more range, I believe, as well.
This is probably Rex here.
Yeah. Oh, ball lightning in. There they go. Is indeed up on Sharpik again. He is dead. That was Kuka in the end with the last hit. There goes the bear as well, as we see Android going down. Razor with the aura. I mean, it is... Look at the HP bars of 4FC. They barely show signs of struggle, and that is the GG call. zRage, they've had enough. 45 minutes while being behind from the get-go is a really long time to hang on as they kill the second bear there as well.
It is. 45 minutes when already the draft did not go your way. I mean, you just saw the super fast draft. Everybody was spending no time on their picks, and then 4FC whips out the Razor, and it just stops. zRage used pretty much all their bonus time to try to come up with an answer to the Razor. And honestly, 4FC with the superior strategy and the superior execution in this game, and a little bit of trolling to top off the Sunday, basically.
Yeah, we're gonna see if zRage has more luck up against Empire, because that will be our next match. It is, of course, StarLadder. It is day number 22 out of the 27 days that we'll have in the group stage, so next Friday will be the last day of the group stages when we'll know who goes to Kiev and who stays home and who gets dropped out of Star Series, obviously, as well, as Empire actually needs some wins to make sure that they don't end up in those bottom 4. They're not doing that well in StarLadder. We will see if they can get a win, or if zRage is going to take another win, or going to take a win to their name and have a 1-1 score in the end of the day, because they have 2 games today in total for StarLadder. Of course, we'll be here with 3 people. You can follow K-poptosis, the Statsman, on @K-poptosis on Twitter, without the hyphen there. You can follow Vykromond on Twitter as well, under the same name, so @Vykromond, and of course me, under the name of SheeverGaming on Twitter as well. We'll be here for the next game, zRage versus Empire. Stick around for more StarLadder in just a moment.